Hey guys, got a deck profile for you here today, and it's the Cyber Dragon deck. This is the first one that I really started to fall in love with. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. Well, before that, you should maybe note that this deck is slightly budgeted. There is some additions I'd like to put in, especially in the extra deck, which I will recommend to you guys. I'll put up on screen or whatever. But there's a lot of cards missing, but it runs fairly well. So now let's get started. So start off with triple Cyber Dragon, your main card of the deck, and you will definitely run 3 of them. There's no questions about that. 3 Cyber Dragons. You'll use them for all your Xyz summons and all that. Next up, we play Triple Dry, and he's one of your main Xyz monsters of the deck, Xyz makers of the deck. Sorry. When he's summoned, he can make all Cyber Dragons level 5. This works with him and Core. That's his main effect that you'll use. The other effect is that when he's banished, he protects another Cyber Dragon on the field, which is a terrific effect, and there's a good combo that you can use with Nova and Dry. But that's Dry there. Next up, I play Triple Core. Core will search out for your Cyber Repair Plan or your Cyber Network, whichever one you prefer to go for. Like Dry, he's treated as Cyber Dragon on the field or in the graveyard, so they're both power bond fodder. And the terrific thing that can work with Core is that you can use it in addition with Machine Duplication and bring out 2 Cyber Dragons. So it works terrifically well. And when he's in the graveyard, you can banish him to bring out a Cyber Dragon. Next up, we play Triple Valley. You're trying to make an OTK. That's what this deck's all about. Until you can get that OTK, you want to stall, and Cyber Valley is your main way you're going to stall. He also gets you a bit of draw power because you can play him on the field. If he's attacked, you banish him and you get to draw a card, and then that's battle phase over. There's other effects he has, but that's the main one I use. And that's the main one I think you'll find yourself using. Next up, 1 Eltonin, in case you need to nuke the field. 2 would just be too much, and 3 is far too much. So just the 1. He can build up a lot of attack, so you want to use him late game, but in a pinch, very helpful to nuke the field. Next up, Card D, just for a bit of draw power. The main reason why he's in there, and 1 Honest, because you're playing all lights except Card D and a couple of extra deck things. I know the ban list has put him up to semi-limited, but when you're playing because you're doing a lot of power bonding and you're bringing out a lot of high attack monsters, you're going to be dealing with stuff well into the very high regions of attack points, so Honest won't be doing much. It's just in a pinch, Honest is very helpful. Okay, that's it for the monsters, so let's move on to the spells. We'll start off 3 Cyber Repair Plan. This is your main search spell of the deck. Bring it to your hand with Core, and then get Core to the graveyard as quick as you can. Whether you do it by using, say, Torrential, or if you just let your opponent attack it, then use your repair plan, add a light machine monster to your hand from your deck, and then that's you're ready to set up for your plays. What I would recommend doing is, if the Core's in the graveyard, use your repair plan, bring Dry to your hand, then use Core's effect while he's in the graveyard, banish it, to bring a Cyber Dragon out from your deck, then play Dry, use Dry's effect, and Xyz summon into Nova, and go from there. That's what I'd recommend anyway, because then you can use many effects there. Next up, triple Power Bond, because this is your OTK chance. This will give you the high attack monsters. More often than not, I Power Bond into a twin, because then it'll have the 5600 attack and can go twice. But I can understand why you'd want to Power Bond into an end, because then you've got an 8000 piercer, and that's going to deal a heck of a lot of damage. But yeah, Power Bond is your OTK chance right there. But do watch out for taking that damage at the end. I see a lot of people run pair Psychroid in their extra deck and Power Bond into him, because you know it's just two machine types with the same name, and you've got, you know, Valley, Cyber Dragon, Dry and Core, so you could use any of them, and you're taking less damage. It can attack directly, but at the same time, like when you can bring out a Cyber End Dragon and give it 8000 and it can do piercing damage, then you know, getting a 3200 direct attack, it's appealing, but not quite as appealing to me. I don't know, personal preference mainly. Next up, one machine duplication, because it works incredibly well with Core. So you summon your Core, activate Repair Plant, and then he gets buddies, and then you've got an Xyz set up or a Power Bond set up. You know, works well. Limit removal, you're playing machines. There's no more explanation I really need for that. Next up, one day of peace, in case Power Bond doesn't work out for you, or in case you just don't feel like taking damage in a turn. So say you bring out a Cyber End with Power Bond, he's got 8000, he's going to pierce, he's going to do a lot of damage, and your opponent hits him with Fiendish Chain. You know, just use that one day of peace and then you don't take 4000 damage. Brilliant, right? Next up, 2 Forbidden Lance. Your weakness with this deck is back row. You're vulnerable to a lot, because you're basically just trying to attack, that's all you're doing. So Forbidden Lance, and it takes off 800 attack when you're dealing with monsters like, you know, Cyber Twin and Cyber End. When they've been power bonded, they got 5600 or 8000. 800 attack loss is not that much, so yeah, Forbidden Lance. And last of the spells, triple MST, it's a standard staple, and again you're weak to back row. That's it for the spells, just the traps left. One network. I only feel the need to run one because with this build I find myself getting a lot to my hand as it is, so I don't really need to go banishing the monsters, and I don't like the idea of, say, the MST this. I don't like the fact that my monsters are going to stay banished, and the fact that it, you know, blows up my back row when it's done. You know, I only run the one because it can be handy in a pinch, but at the same time, like, it's got a lot of problems. Not problems, but I don't know. I only run the one, but I run 3 trap stun. As I say, you're weak to back row, and this can give you just the advantage you need for a turn, and a turn is all you need with this deck to just turn the tide. 1 Rivalry of Warlords, because you're running all machines, so, except for Honest, you're running all machines, so Rivalry of Warlords, call machines, and you're set. I know a lot of archetypes these days are, put that back, I know a lot of archetypes these days are, you know, the same type, so, you know, if your opponent's playing Battling Boxers, they'll call Warriors. If they're playing Blackwings, they'll call Winged Beast, but it shuts down a lot of extra decks, Rivalry. And, you know, my extra deck is, yeah, except for 1 card, it's all machines. And, you know, say your opponent goes into, you know, say they're playing Black Wings and they call Wing Beast, means they can't go into a big play like Leo, or they can't bring out Stardust, or they can't bring out Black Rose and blow up the field. So it just stops stuff like that, I guess. Next up, 2 Threatening Roar, because again you're stalling till you get the OTK. And last up, 1 Divine Wrath, 1 Call, 1 Torrential, and 1 T-Prison. All just standard stuff really, but what I will say is, at the minute I only run 1 of each of these. I'd like to bump them up to 2, and I will eventually someday, but not right now. Soon. Okay, that's it for the main deck. Now I'm gonna run on to the extra deck. I will advise first, it's only 8 cards. It's a very small extra deck. There's a lot I would like to put into it, and again, like, I'll put up names of cards in the video or in the description, so keep an eye out. But I just haven't got around to getting a lot of the cards, but I know what should be in this extra deck, so I will advise and stuff. But yeah, this is all I have. 2 Nova, your main Xyz monster of the deck. You know, does a heck of a lot. So it works incredibly well with Dry, because it's got that effect of putting all Cyber Dragons to level 5, which works on Core, works on Dry, you know, so you can get them out very easily with this deck. You can detach a material to special summon a Cyber Dragon from the graveyard, then you can banish a Cyber Dragon from your hand or side of the field, and he gets 2100 extra attack. Brilliant effects. The last one, and probably the deadliest, is if he goes by card effect, you get a machine fusion monster from your extra deck to the field, which can be devastating because you could pull out a Cyber End. So if you go to attack and your opponent mirror forces you, they've just, you know, signed their own death warrant, because what would essentially just happen is they'd blow up that, but you replace it with that, and you get, you know, a lot of attack to them. So the combo I was on about earlier, with your 3 Cyber Dragons and the repair plan, goes as such. You bring out Core, it's too high, bring out Core, and you'll search for your repair plan. So that's in your hand. Then Core goes to the graveyard for whatever reason, activate your repair plan, search for a tasty Dry, and then use Core's effect, banish it to bring out your Cyber Dragon from your hand, play Dry, use his effect, bump him to 5, stack him to bring out Nova. Now that you got this set up, what you do is use Nova's effect, send Dry to the graveyard to special summon it again. Then use Nova's other effect, banish Dry, and it gains 2100 through its own effect, and because you've banished your Dry, it can be destroyed by battle or card effects. Now I know you've got the whole, when it's destroyed by card effects, you get a monster, but at the same time, 4200 monster, going straight for your opponent, no holds barred, that's kind of appealing as well, really. So yeah, that's a combo that you can play. The most advisable one. It doesn't get you the OTK, but it does a heck of a lot of damage. And, you know, if your opponent does get around that, say they Fiendish Chain it, and then blow it up with whatever, you know, you can easily bring out another fusion monster. Next I run Wind Up Arsenal Zenmayo, another machine type Xyz monster, so it's another thing you can bring out even after using Dry's effect, because with Dry you can only bring out machine types. So yeah, Zenmayo, and you can blow up to the back row, very helpful. Gaia Dragon the Thunder Charger, because he can be made with 5s or 6s, and he's a piercer. So that's all my Xyz monsters. The decks I've seen before would run a lot more Xyz monsters than that, and I can understand why. They run the likes of Adreus, Tiras, Volcasaurus, and Pleiades. I'm not sure what else they really run. That's about it. Mostly level 5 stuff. There was one I saw that ran Digusto Phoenix, just for something to do with your cores. It works as a way to, you know, it gives you a power monster from just your cores, which are not much after you've got the cyber repair plant, and then it's a way to get them to the graveyard. But yeah, so that's all the Xyz monsters I have. And now on to the fusions. I run 2 Twin. Twin is one of my favourite monsters in the entire game. I absolutely love Twin, which is why he's usually my my power bond target or my Nova target. I'll usually bring him out. I love bringing him out with power bond, so it goes up to 5600, then doubling that with limiter removal goes to 11,200. You know, can finish 2 people in 1 turn because he can attack twice. So yeah, Cyber Twin works very well, but I wouldn't run more than 2. Next up, 1 Cyber End, because he's your powerhouse. He's what you really should bring out with Nova. 4000 attack, piercing is going to do a lot of damage. If you power bond into it, that's an 8000 piercer. If you limiter removal that, that's a 16,000 piercer, and that's enough to just finish anyone. So yeah, Cyber End, your big monster. And 1 Chimeratech Overdragon, because he runs with Cyber Dragon and then any other number of machine type monsters. Can get a high number of attacks. Yeah, so it runs incredibly well, but I don't find myself using him that often because, you know, you need to power bond into this. You can't yeah, well, you need to power bond into all the fusions in this deck, but I don't know, I just don't find myself using him that often. That's it for the fusion monsters, but other people have run the likes of Barbaros, or Barbaroid even, because that's another 4000 beater. I think the other one was Super Heavy Mecha Drill Roid Super Robo Cop thing, because it's another heavy beater. But when you can run the likes of Cyber End, which has got 4000, you know, I'd say that's a safe bet. Maybe even run 2 of Cyber End. Other ones have been the obvious one, Chimeratech Fortress Dragon, and people will usually run 2 of that because you can use stuff on your opponent's side as well. So it works incredibly well with DNA Surgery if you choose to play that as well, which I don't, unfortunately. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So hope you guys liked the deck profile, and yeah, look out for more in the future. See ya!